Hey everyone, a number of people have been asking me questions about the New Orleans terror attack and my perspective on it and what we can learn or understand about how to better protect ourselves. The first thing we want to understand about this situation is that this type of terror attack is nothing new. Since 2000, low-grade or low-tech terror attacks have been the general MO of international terror organizations globally, vehicle-borne attacks being one of the ways in which we're seeing these attacks play out. These attacks have happened all over the globe, everywhere from China to the UK, certainly Israel, the United States. Even this attack is nothing new for the United States. Probably the worst attack was in Nice, France back in 2016, but since then, bad guys all over the globe have been following suit and doing similar attacks. So what do we need to know about these situations and how do we better protect ourselves and our families? The first thing to understand is that you can never entirely prevent this type of attack, any more than you can entirely prevent terrorism or active shooter events or active violence. What we need to know is how to swim. What do we do if we are there, and even though there may be lifeguards, how do we make sure that we understand how to swim? And what it comes down to is a couple of basic fundamentals. If you're going to a crowded environment, understand what you're getting into first of all. If you're going to a concert, if you're going to a large public venue, if you're going to a large gathering, understand that that in itself means that that environment could be an inviting target, and regardless of law enforcement presence, could be seen as a soft target. So you have to pay attention. Pay attention when you're arriving, pay attention to where your exit routes are, possibly even treat it as you would any large gathering from the standpoint of a concert venue. Don't position yourself right in the middle of the mix. Even if those are the best seats or that's the best place from a viewing standpoint, stay to the peripheries, stay closer to the edges where if the crowd, for example, were to stampede, you wouldn't be crushed. You'd have a better chance of getting out of it or going with the flow until you can get out of it. The second component to this is understand that when you're arriving at an environment like this with your family and friends, you have to take a few moments to talk to them and say, hey, if something were to happen and we get separated, how are we going to reconnect? Particularly in environments where possibly your cell phones won't work. Text messages might, but if they don't, possibly email is your way to connect. And if you can't really communicate via phone or through standard communication devices, have a secondary rendezvous location. Basically we would call in the security business an emergency rendezvous point. The concept is to say, hey, as we're arriving at the venue, you see this hotel across the street. If something happens here and we get separated, we'll meet up in the lobby of that hotel. That way, if you get separated and it's chaos, everyone's not trying to go back into the danger area to reconnect with family and friends. You know where to go and trust that everybody knows the plan and can get there as well. The concept here is that this is a bad situation, and clearly, even if there's bollards or police cars blocking the roadways, as we saw in this attack, the truck was able to bypass that by driving on the sidewalk and, just simply going around a police car. We have to accept the reality that sometimes crowds are vulnerable. And to limit our own vulnerability, we want to just take a certain few things into our own hands. One of them being our awareness, recognition of, what our exit routes are, and have that emergency response plan planned out in advance before you go there with your family. Anyway, don't live in fear, live ready, and don't let the bad guys win by not going to events you want to go to. Just go with confidence. Till next time, I'm Sam Rosenberg.